Okay, hello everyone, good morning. Good morning, Milana. Okay, let us start with the current affair and let us start with the first current affair news. This is Alka this side. The first news is related to ILA, क्या बोलते हैं, report that is state of social justice. So under this, basically this news is majorly important from your mains perspective. The facts which are mentioned in this article, majorly chances are very high that you can, chances of asking it in mains or whatever the data and facts says about this particular report which has been published by ILO, it is majorly important from mains perspective or essay perspective. But yes, there is a data, obviously chances are very high, but there are other aspects also. Just say ILO is in news, they can ask you about the ILO, they can ask you about this report. So that's why this is like, but majorly this particular article is important from mains point of view. Now what is the news? International Labour Organization released its landmark report, The State of Social Justice, a Work in Progress 2025 reports. So, this is basically the report which started, like when it started, this is a report which started in 1995, and this report shows actually what is the social status of the society in like worldwide perspective, like gender equality, income disparity, or which of the literacy perspective, what is the role of education, how much percentage of overall global education level has been increased, sustainable development perspective. So it looks after gender equality, normal, the divide between rich and poor. This is what actually this particular index shows, or this particular report shows, which is published by your ILO, that is International Labour Organization. Now before starting with what data says about the world and what data says about the India, we need to also understand in short what is ILO. So ILO is basically an organization which is marking as a standard or which is looking after that worldwide the laborers which are working nationally and internationally, they are actually getting better wages, they are getting a good living and qualitative standards in a working place. So in short, this is the aim and objective of ILO, and this is also very important that ILO is the only tripartite agency, yani ki it's an only tripartite, yani three particular, it is an agency which includes three particular sections or stakeholders. Number one is your government, number two is your workers, and number three is your employers. Yani ki ye तीनों perspectives hai, it talks about all these three perspectives from labor organization perspective. So that's why it is the only United Nations tripartite agency which actually denotes or which actually includes stakeholders, that is your government, worker and employees. This is actually employers. That is actually what ILO is in short all about. Now ILO reports published, that is social justice report. Now we will see what it actually talks about. So there are majorly four foundational pillars of this. What is the what is the level of equality? Second, it aims to remove all the barriers which is related to wage disparity, which is related to the standards of the living standards of employment, equitable sharing of economic growth and benefits, and managing an environment and digital demography. So that because currently the world is changing, currently we are moving towards more and more digitalization, so it's very important that the particular population which is working, it should also be digitally literate or digitally aware of the changing norms and technology, because it is believed that according to World Bank report, this AI and this technological advancement in the labor sector will going to actually make on an average 23 to 25% of. So this will be going to known as technological unemployment. So that's why it is very important that with the changing order, we as an employees or we as an workers or we as a government look after but we make sure that the people who are in the particular section or the people who are working in the different sectors of the world, or they are giving employment, they are giving actually contributing to the economy, they should also aware of the digitalization and digital changes. And that's why this ILO ka fourth pillar is also fulfilling the India aims of digital India. So that's why this is very important. These are the four pillars of this particular report which has been published by ILO, that is International Labour Organization. Now, very good morning beta. Now the global progress, the facts are important. Let us see what facts says about it. Extreme poverty has fell from 39% in 1995 to 10% in 2025. यानी कि जो extreme poverty थी जहाँ पे people were not even getting one time food, it has been decreased from 1995 that was at 39% to 10% that is in 2025. Second, child labor, that is 5 to 14 years of age people, the childs who were working in any XYZ field, it has been declined from 250 millions to 106 million. So the number is not yet larger number of yet we can see as a large number of decrease, but still it's a concerning number. That is 106 millions. That is actually the students still working, or the child, they are still working as a child labor. That is the age that is between 5 to 14. Working poverty dropped from 28% to 7%, and overall 50% of the global population now covered by some form of social protection. Some form of social protection means any kind of scheme, जैसे कि इंडिया में आयुष्मान भारत, प्रधानमंत्री कृषि योजना, जनधन योजना, these are the kind of a social protection scheme. So on an average 50% of the global population, one way or the another, they are actually covered under any XYZ scheme which is working for the social protection. So this is also one of the important aspect which you will see. So these are the data, very important if you are writing any examination में, जैसे question has been asked related to the employment sector कि भाई despite we are growing towards a good number of economy, still employment is one of the major concern, then we can give report, yes, according to ILO social justice report, data says this. If question asks you about child or child labor, you can write this data with the reference of ILO social justice report. So these particular facts are very important from means answer perspective and essay perspective. So that's why we are looking after these facts, that is ILO ka which has been released. Now this is also one of the sector. 1%, top 1% control 20% of the global income. यानी कि पूरी दुनिया के केवल 1%, यानी only 1% rich people, they are actually having the control of on an average 20% of the global wealth and income, global income, and 38% of the wealth. This is a very important particular data which shows that still the inequality which exists in the society. Top 1% control of the 20% of the global income and 30% of the wealth. This is the actually data which actually shows about the income disequality or inequality in the society. Now, this is also one of the major concern of South Korea. South Korea mein the government is not majorly running the country. Who is running the country? The Chernobyl. We call it as Chernobyl or Chernobyl. Who are the Chernobyl or Chernobyl? The people who are the rich brats. So the whatever which is happening in South Korea, any policy, any initiative or any XYZ thing, actually it is not dependent on the government initiative. It is largely dependent on the cream or the young or the rich people of the South Korea. So that's why South Korea is shifting its policy, because they are actually concerned and they are now fed up with the interference of these rich brats in the political system. That is the problem of, that's why this inequality is not only showing the income disparity or inequality in the social order, but it is also showing that the country, if a country is smaller and there are a lot of rich people are there, then they are actually manipulating the government system as well. And this is one of the major concern of a country like a South Korea, that is one of the majorly growing economies of the world, कि भाई the rich people of their country, they are actually disturbing the politics, they are trying to interfere in the political system, and many of the time political parties have to change their policies and norms just to make sure that these rich people of the South Korea, who are actually largely funding the government policies and norm, they are happy, and so that government can regularly get the funds from these rich brats. So this is also one of the concern which you will see of this income disparity. Now, women earn 78% of the men wages, and at current pace it's like obviously abhi bhi still the women earning is less as compared to the men, and according to this ILO social justice report, it is said that abhi bhi it will take 50 to 100 years to actually come women to on an average as a same pace as compared to the men. So this is also one of the disparity which you will see, ki it will take 50 to 100 years to come to this close as compared to the men in the society. Then 55% of the income inequality determined by country of birth, showing global location bias, yani ki 55% of जो income equality is actually depend on the birth. जैसे कि जैसे I am born in a middle class family, so chances are very high that my income will be still better as compared to the person who is born in a lower middle class or a poor class section or a below poverty line section. So this is actually that 50% of the income inequality is actually based on the your birth, कि भाई किस जगह पे you are taking birth. जैसे कि majority of the people who are taking birth in USA, they are more rich as compared to the people taking birth in any XYZ African country, or let's say India as a country. So this also shows one of the income disparity. This shows कि the economies, the world largest, if I am born in any of the world largest economy, that means my income will be more better as compared to the other people around me. So this is also one of the factor which you will see of this income inequality in the society. So this is the data. Now what report says about India? India के बारे में भी जो report है, that is equally important from examination point of view. This could be asked in statement perspective from prelims point of view. Now because majority of the time it is believed that कि हमेशा चीज़ें decrease ही होती हैं, but you should also increase ही होती हैं, but sometimes some number decreases, so it becomes automatically important from examination point of view. Now what does this data says about India? Multiple dimension या multi-dimensional poverty in India fell from 29%, that is in 2013, to 11% in 2022 and 23, aligning with ILO Global Progress theme. Now multi-dimensional poverty index, there is also one of the index which we also release, that is multi-dimensional poverty index. But multi-dimensional poverty means कि the individual is getting good health standards are there, proper living standard is there, they are getting a proper food. This is actually what includes in your multi-dimensional poverty. And when we compare our status from 2013 till 2023, so yes, the number has been decreased, यानी कि 29% से we have come up to 11%, that is your multi-dimensional poverty index में और multi-dimensional poverty में. So this is also one of the aspects. Now they are giving contribution, yeah, they are giving this particular share to what? To the particular schemes which have been released. Sorry, because it is believed that कि for example, because there are lot of schemes जैसे प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना, आयुष्मान भारत scheme, because of which this multi-dimensional poverty particular index में we have decreased the ratio, यानी कि we have improved the status when we compare the situation of multi-dimensional poverty. So this is the status of multi-dimensional poverty in India. Then female literacy is 77%. This is a good number as compared to the earlier situation. Still this is one of the best number which you will see. And when we talk about which state is the highest literate state of the country, that is Kerala. Which state is digitally literate state, that is also the first digitally literate state of the country is also your Kerala. So that's why Kerala. But when we talk about the highest number of crime in which state it is increasing, then it's Kerala also. And the highest number of drug consuming between the students 10 to 15 years, the children between 10 to 15 years, it is also increasing in basically Kerala only. So all the particular facts are related to Kerala. Now, we are saying that why we were able to achieve this particular goal is because of the scheme such as PM Kisan, Ayushman Bharat, E-Shram Yojana, and expanded inclusion covering over 55 CR unorganized workers. यानी कि our particular section is divided into two sections, organized section and unorganized section. And इसको आप formal and informal भी बोलते हैं. जैसे कि we are working in a formal structure, यानी कि there is an organization, there is a proper recruitment, proper offer letter is given, and everything is written on the paper, whatever if and buts are there. So we are working in an organized sector, but there is an unorganized sector, यानी कि let's say I am a labor and I am standing in a chalk. Let's say there is a particular चौराहा, I am standing there, and one of the particular person will come and they will say कि अच्छा आज के दिन you have to paint here and here, and this is your daily wage. I was like okay, चलो कोई issue नहीं है. But there is nothing record of anything कि भाई मैं as an individual I have worked today here and this is the particular data and documentation of that particular work has been done. नहीं, majority of the labor sector is working in unorganized sector in our country, and this is the concern. But yes, by these particular scheme like your PM Kisan, Ayushman Bharat, E-Shram Yojana, we have included more and more unorganized people, but still it is a concern that on an average good number of people are still outside this organized structure. They are still unorganized, and still there is no proper specific data or report related to them. So over 80% of the Indian workforce remain outside the former contracts, reflecting the global trend of limited improvement in job quality. This is also the thing which you will see. Now, female labor participation has increased, that is 37%, but still it's low as compared to the global standards. So, this is the what data says about the particular ILO social justice, particularly data which has been released by ILO. So, all these facts are very important. I am repeating again and again. Might be this could not be important from prelims perspective, but these data are very important from mains perspective, and basically your essay writing mein you can add these data, which is very useful for you from Indian perspective and global perspective as well. Now, what are the challenges? Obviously, still the divide between rich and poor is increasing. There is no particular improvement which can be seen in the division between rich and poor. Halaki there is a data which says that now in country like now in India, specifically in your let's say Mumbai, cities like your Mumbai, Delhi, in every 1 hour there is a 1 millionaire. यानी कि हर एक घंटे में कोई ना कोई millionaire इस particular cities में बनता है. So this is also one of the positive aspect which you will see. But the point here is कि भाई still the divide between rich and poor is increasing, it's not decreasing. That is the concern which you will see. This is one of the first challenge which ILO has said. Now, 58% of the global workforce is informal, यानी कि still 58% is working in an informal sector, यानी कि there is no such data, no such offer letter, no such particular mention of कि कहाँ कितना payment जा रहा है, यानी कि it is also responsible for corruption, यानी कि black money is rotating in this sector. So this is not only the concern of economy from employment perspective, this is a concern also from corruption perspective, because majority of the money which is used in unorganized sector is black money or corruption money. This is also one of the aspect which you will see. Now, इसी के साथ में अभी when I was like just getting ready for the classes for this particular session, I just saw a news, an IPS officer or IAS officer in Chandigarh, he committed suicide. ठीक है, it was said that कि 7th October के आसपास he has been transferred in Chandigarh, and it is believed that, and it was said that according to his track record, he was one of the very responsible kind of an IAS or IPS I guess officer, civil servant, and he was actually fighting against the system, but his wife was not available. She was actually for tourist, kuch kahin she was actually out for the tourism perspective, but behind that, like yesterday or day before yesterday, he actually committed suicide and he shot him by his own particular the weapon which he has been allotted by the government. But this is actually a conspiracy which is going around ki bhai is actually really a particularly suicide he has committed, or it is a murder which has been done by the authorities against whom he was working for, or against whom he actually raised his voice, because it is also known as kind of a whistleblower ka we can relate it to it, because in past few months there were 2 to 3 reporters, very small reporters, who have actually reported the ground reality of the government system, government hospitals. They have been killed, and the particular death has been showed as an accidental. So this could be also related to your whistleblower protection act. The people who are actually exposing and working properly in the system, they are actually killed by the authorities. Now, why this civil servant news is important? Because it is important from your ethics point of view. Ethics may they can ask you why, because of the increasing death among your, or increasing suicide among your civil servant, what could be the possible actions government can take, or basically what could be the possible reasons. So this is actually, this example is important from ethical point of view. So that's why I have just discussed about this particular as in current affair. It's not important ki kaun sa IPS mara ya IAS mara, but the mental trauma which civil servants are facing in the system, because they are actually working very effectively, they are working very honestly. So what they are getting is just a case where it is said that ki bhaiya isne suicide kar liya hai. So these are the things which are actually increasing in the system. If you are against the system, then you have to die, and the death will be shown as an accidental death. So this is also one of the concern. Ethics mein they can ask you something related to this. Now, challenges. So 58% of the global workers are informal, 71% of the income outcomes depend on the birth circumstances, gender gap remains static, and digital divide, climate, job losses and aging population may deepen inequality. यानी कि digital divide, climate related problems and aging population can be one of the major concern in future, which can hamper the economy and which can lead or widen the gap of inequality in the society. That is the concern. These are the challenges which ILO has said ki bhai this could be the major challenges which you can face in the society. Now, but ILO has given some particular ILO has also given some recommendation also. So, what is the recommendation which has been given by ILO is to strengthen the system, yani ki first of all, integrate equity, concentration in finance, trade, climate and health governance, strengthen transparency, accountability and inclusive dialogue, expand access to education, skill, lifelong learning to close digital and gender gaps. So, these are the recommendations. 5 recommendations has been given by ILO. Number 1, inclusive yani ki include more and more people. Second, be transparent and be accountable. And third, expand the access to education and skill development so that less gender gap and digital gaps can be seen. Then universal coverage, fair minimum wages should be given. Ensure climate and digital transformation is looked by everyone. Everyone is actually learning this particular scenario of digital and the climate changes, and basically multilateral alignment and engagement should be done so that more and more people can get benefit of such particular changes in the society. So, these are the recommendations of ILO. So, if UPSC asks you something related to ILO and related to this social justice, and if they ask you what is the recommendation given by ILO, so you have to mention about these recommendations rather than writing your own recommendations. So, this is the recommendations which has been given by ILO. These are the 6 recommendations which has been given by ILO related to work on the social justice problem in the society. Now, this is also one of the important article which we will see, and it is not related to drone, but it is actually related to low altitude economy. Now, what is low altitude economy is very important from examination point of view. Tamil Nadu is preparing a roadmap to become India's low altitude economy hub, leveraging drone technology, advanced air mobility and liberalized regulations. Now, it is important here what do we mean by low altitude economy, because this is one kind of a new terminology which you will see in the system. ठीक है. When I was kid na, so you might have also saw that news ki every time the news channels, like one of the major prominent Hindi news channels, they used to show ki flying car hogi, there will be a flying car and traffic ka hum log we can overcome the traffic and situation will be very normal, and there will be in future there are very high chances of getting a fly car. And at time that was so mesmerizing kind of a news. Flying car ho sakti, we were in a doubt ki yaar sach mein flying car ho sakti hai kya, but point is that yes, it is reality today. So this is what low altitude economy is all about, and Tamil Nadu is one of the particular state which is known for the development of automobiles. So now Tamil Nadu is talking about low altitude economy. Now, what is low altitude economy? That means they will going to use particularly all the instruments or particularly or sectors, machinery which will going to fly on an average below 3000 meter. Yani ki they will going to use drones and they will going to use basically flying cars, basically flying podcasts. For what? For actually boosting the economy. There will be a charging stations, there will be more and more use of drones, there will be more and more use of electric vehicles, electric related things, flying cars will be used, so that, and this use of particular these technology below 300 meter for commercial and normal purposes, yeah, for the basic day-to-day fulfillment purposes is known as low altitude economy. Now, low altitude economy is an emerging economic sector that utilize airspace below 3000 meters for commercial and industrial purposes. This is the definition of low altitude economy. Now, what are the things which will be used? Drones will be used, vertiports will be used, charging stations will be used, digital unmanned traffic management will be used. So, all the things digitalized and AI will be used for the development of low altitude economy, and specifically Tamil Nadu is becoming one of the first state which is focusing on low altitude economy. And globally, if we talk about the particular status of this, actually it is increasing. So what data says about this? The global LA market is projected to reach $150 to $200 billion by 2030, and India's market is projected to reach $5 billion by 2030, growing annually, that is 30%. So that means कि future में if I say कि भाई मैं I have booked an air car which is Uber, which is actually coming in Uber, then it will not be a thing कि हाँ यार air car भी book हो सकती है. So now air cars or air, basically the things are actually flying cars is becoming the future. It's no more a future, now it's becoming the reality, and Tamil Nadu is one of the first government which is using such technology. In future you will see it will going to start using such technology for the as part of your low altitude economy. So this is what your low altitude economy is all about. So if UPSC asks you, bhai, what is low altitude economy, या फिर how the automobile sector or how the unmanned vehicles is changing the economy, how the AI is changing the economy, how EV sector is changing the economy, सबके answer में you have to mention about the low altitude economy. And if UPSC asks you the recently term low altitude economy seen in news related to what, so it is actually related to the airspace which is below 3000 meter. It actually includes your drones, it includes your vertiports, it includes your charging stations. Everything is actually part of your low altitude economy. And this data also becomes very important because it is growing, and annually also India 30% actually India is also growing in this particular low altitude economy. Now what is actually the application of this low altitude economy? Obviously it will going to help for the delivery purposes, because I already told you, but the government came up with a plan before COVID. This plan was actually put in parliament that we will going to make a proper drone corridors, yani ki in air there will be a drone highways which will be constructed, and the drone with the capacity to weight a particular tank, the tank which we use on the battlefields. So it will having the capacity to take a payload of on an average 200 kgs to 500 kgs. So this much capacity ka drone we were about to build, but because of the COVID-19 this plan has been delayed. This particular drone making system has been, airspace or the particular highway of making drone was actually delayed. But now chota karke we are using UAVs and different kind of technology for the development purposes. So UAV will going to use for a last mile delivery and for the connectivity purpose. In fact Amazon and these delivery services, food delivery services, are also using drones for the delivery of the food, specifically in the southern area. Southern में it is believed that people are still accepting such technology. North में तो बच्चे पत्थर मार के ही तोड़ देते हैं. So this is also the concern of basically using such technologies in north also. So that's why majority of the southern particular states, they are using such technologies for development of food delivery apps. Food delivery apps are also using the drone, and Amazon वगैरह भी they are using drones for the supplying purposes. So this is also UAVs will going to use for the cargo supply and the last mile delivery. Then air taxis will be there, that will going to help to curb the traffic. Transportation cost will be little bit high, but the point is that it will going to save your time. So eVTOL air taxis offering quicker congestion free passenger transportation under this low altitude economy, and using drone, obviously use of drone for agriculture purposes. That's why there is an initiative which is known as Drone Didi. So under Drone Didi we are training on an average 5 to 15 kind of a ladies in the drone thing. So they will going to use a drone for the agriculture purposes and different surveillance purposes. This is what initiative is, Drone Didi. So that's why drone is actually used for the agriculture purposes, for keeping surveillance, for delivery services. That's why low altitude economy will also going to contribute or use or applicant in this field also, that is use of drones for precision spraying, crop monitoring and livestock management. So this is the applications of basically your low altitude economy which you will see. Plus medical missions के लिए to basically kill insects, spraying, मतलब in short every perspective से UAVs and air taxis will be used to protect more and more time, to save more and more time, and give a proper development to the people in the society. And the term is used as actually as low altitude economy. So if UPSC asks you as a 150 word question, what is low altitude economy and what are the applications of low altitude economy, so this is the answer. This is exactly the answer which you have to write if question is asked. Now the next thing, this is also very important article. BRO, that is Border Road Organization, that is BRO. It has been actually constructed one of the highest motorable road. Now what is the news? Border Road Organization has opened the Migla Pass in Ladakh at an altitude of 19,400 feet, making it the world highest motorable pass. यानी कि दुनिया का सबसे ऊंचा motorable pass has been developed by BRO, that is actually your Migla Pass. Migla Pass. So that's why here the Migla Pass is important, and the project under which this has been created by BRO and BRO. These three things are very important from this article. So one by one we will see what actually these aspects are talking about. Number 1, Migla Pass. Migla Pass is present in your basically Ladakh, that is your Changthang Plateau. Where is Changthang Plateau? Here is your Changthang Plateau. That's why this road which has been constructed as highest motorable pass road, that is Migla Pass, is also important to counter China, because this plateau, you can see the Changthang Plateau, you can see is very close to the China border, that is LAC, that is line of actual control. So that's why this particular construction or this development which has been done recently is very important from IAS perspective also, because it will going to help India to counter China from Tibet side. This is also one of the important aspect which you will see of this Migla Pass. So it is located in Changthang Plateau in Ladakh, and it is world record highest motorable pass, that is on altitude of your 19,400, and it connects one of the road which is known as Linkaru Migla Phukche Pass. And before that, before Mugla, there was a Umrang Pass, which was the highest motorable pass in Ladakh only. And it was also constructed by BRO. But now they have constructed the highest pass, you're crossing your Umrang Pass, that is your Migla Pass. So this is one of the important aspects. And now why it is also important, it is also one of the reason why it is important, because out of world 14 largest or the highest motorable passes, BRO has constructed on an average 11 motorable passes. That means 11 highest altitude motorable passes are present in India out of world 14, and all of the 11 has been constructed by BRO, that is Border Road Organization, which is actually working under Ministry of Defence. This is also very important aspect which you will see. So it was built with the advanced features of withstanding harsh winter, shift glaciers and oxygen thin air, making it the highest all season road globally. Yani ki the road which has been constructed, it is all weather road which will going to look after all the condition, because more we move upwards, more we go to altitude, oxygen is less. So us tarike se breathing mein problem hota hai. That's why whenever it is said that majority of the people, when they prefer going to Ladakh, it's very natural that one should check ki bhai what is their body, if their body is ready to actually react in the Ladakh or not, because Ladakh is actually comes at a very altitude or very higher pace where the oxygen level is कम, pressure बहुत ज़्यादा पड़ता है body पे, because of which majority of the people they are not actually comfortable in the weather of Ladakh and the pressure and the less oxygen. That's why it is very important that one should, if one is visiting your basically Ladakh or the higher altitudes of Ladakh, then one should check their body. They should have a body checkup first and then prefer going to such places. But yes, this is a all weather or all season road, which makes it very important. Now there is also a valley which is known as Hanle Valley, and that also very important. So Hanle Valley is located in about 270 miles southeast of Leh, that is your Changtak, and it is also actually very important from border perspective, and there is a particular tribe which lives here, that is known as Changpa. So if UPSC asks you Changpa term recently seen in news, it's a particular tribe which is present in your Hanle Valley, that is actually near your Changthang particular Plateau. This is also very important. Now this article becomes more important. Why? Because Ladakh is currently in news because of the different demands. So all the tribes and all the particular geography and all the small things related to Ladakh becomes important from examination point of view. The glaciers of Ladakh, the rivers of Ladakh, the tribes of Ladakh, whatever the demands of Ladakh, whatever government has done for the Ladakh, and this particular article, that is Migla Pass. So everything which is related to Ladakh becomes very important for this year examination point of view, because chances are very high question can be asked in prelims also, and from mains perspective also it becomes very important. Now some part of this Changpa Plateau has been actually taken by whom? That is your China. So earlier it was like before your 1962 war, these Changpa tribe, they are basically herders, यानी कि चरवाहा बोलते हैं इनको. Why? Because of the high altitude, because of the geography, they are not able to grow crops in this region. Agriculture is not that possible in this region. So majority of the tribes which are present in this region, they are actually involved as a herder. They are the tribal people जो अपना ये हर्डर से या जो फिर आपके जानवरों को पाल के they actually fulfill their livelihood needs. So earlier, before, when there was no such war, before 1962 war, these particular tribes were allowed to actually go for the herding in the Tipit region, in this particular area. But after 1962 war, when the border has become complicated, now these tribal people are not allowed to go to this region. This is also one of the concern which has been changed after 1962. Now, this Migla Pass has been constructed under a project that is known as Project Himang. So if UPSC asks you statement related to Project Himang, you should aware of. And if UPSC asks you what is Project Himang, yeah, Migla Pass is which of the passes have been constructed under Project Himang. So you should also aware of Project Himang and what are the passes. So it is your homework, which of the passes have been actually constructed under Project Himang. Now let us see what is Project Himang first. So Project Himang is an initiative of BRO, that is your Border Road Organization, and it was started in your December 1985 in under Leh, and under this the particularly BRO is constructing more and more development infrastructure and roads in the region of Ladakh, specifically which is connected Leh and Kargil region to the other part of the country. So this is what the actually the Project Himang is all about. So project was raised on 4th December 1985 at the Leh for the development of road communication in Ladakh region, and it falls under the high altitude, challenging working conditions and limited working season. So they actually supported by the army during the various operations under this region. Yani ki we are not only constructed this road ki tourism perspective, so the people who love biking, they can hike or they can ride to the above parts of the world or higher altitude. Nahi, it is equally important for army, because if we build such particular passes till such a higher altitude, especially near to the China borders, it is very helpful to, in the situation like war time or in any of the clashes time pe, we can supply weapons at a very from a very at a very easy or very easy manner. That's why these motorable roads are very important to counter the China in this region. So that's why also this is very important initiative which you will see. So BRO is also working for, and these roads are actually roads which are constructed by in a particular scenario that easily whatever the landslides or any slow avalanches has occurred in this region, it will be easy for particular authorities to remove that or to clear these particular route as soon as possible. So that's why the Project Himang is a very useful project under which BRO is constructing more and more roads and infrastructure specifically in the Ladakh region, and to help army to counter LAC or to counter China on this side. This is also one of the aspect which you will see of Project Himang. Now let us see about BRO, that is Border Road Organization. Shramed Sarvam Sadhyam, this is the actually tagline of your BRO, that is Border Road Organization. Now this is also one of the important organization which you will see, which is working under your Ministry of Defence. This is very important. Sometimes people they say this works under your Ministry of Highways, so answer is no. In 1960 it was formed, it was founded in 1960, and it is working under your Ministry of Defence, and this is very important point. Now it develops and maintains all the particular roads majorly which are present on the borders and neighboring countries, they are working for the defense and socio-economic growth perspective. They are creating infrastructure. In fact, there is a project known as Project Dantak, and Project Dantak ke under they have constructed a road near your Bhutan region. So that's why they are not only constructing roads and they are not only providing social and economic growth and standards and development only in your China borders, but also providing such kind of roads and project and initiative in the other neighboring countries as well. So that's why this is very important aspect which you will see of BRO. Now what are the other initiatives which are going under BRO? Jaise ki Project Himang, we have saw recently in Ladakh, and Operation Project Vijayak. These are the two major projects which is actually going on in Ladakh. Project Samrak, that is actually in Jammu and Kashmir. Project Dhantak, which we have already discussed, that is in Bhutan. Project Arunank, that is basically in Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the major projects of your BRO which is going on in this region. So if UPSC asks you which of the following projects is actually BRO is working on, and they give you 4 to 5 option. So these are the basically projects which are going under BRO, or they can also give you to match the context कि भाई कौन सा project कौन से state या कौन सी country के साथ हो रहा है. So they can also give you state or example match the following form as well. So this is the particular projects which are going under BRO. Now BRO has now constructed 11 of the world 14 highest motorable passes. This we have already discussed. So these are the important aspects which you will see of BRO. So from here we have discussed what is Migla Pass. Where is this your Changtang Plateau or Changtang Valley, where it is present, because out of this same Changtang, Hanle Valley is also part of it, where Changpa tribes can be seen. Then what is Project Himang, and what are the other projects which are going under BRO, what is BRO and what are the other projects which are going under BRO. This is what we have discussed. Now this is also one of the important article which you will see. What is the article? Pakistan has proposed allowing the United States to build and operate commercial deep water port in Pasni, Balochistan. Now this is very particular important news from Indian perspective, and in fact for China as well. Now first let us see the map and then we will discuss what is actually this news is all about. So अब देखो Pasni port in Balochistan. Now why Balochistan is majorly news, because past we have discussed also. Balochistan is a particular kind of a territory which is not happy with Pakistan, and there is a particular insurgent group or organization or army which is present in your Balochistan, that is part of Pakistan, that is BLA, Balochistan Liberation Army. Time to time they are actually taking the actions like hijacking of a train. Recently they have hijacked the train, bomb blast which is going on in basically Pakistan, and it is believed that BLA is actually behind that thing. And Pakistan always blame that कि India is actually illegally supporting your Balochistan region or Balochistan Liberation Army. So this was the angle between India and Pakistan towards this Balochistan angle. Now the another angle which was actually part of it is China. China has constructed a road from China to Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that is POK region, via Pakistan. A particular corridor was known as CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and through that CPEC, China from here to Pakistan, it was coming to a region. Here is a zoom version of Pakistan. Here is a port that is known as Gwadar port. So China was having access of the Gwadar port via the route that is CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This is the second angle. Now the third angle, USA has entered in this particular territory. Now USA was dependent on China for the rare earth element, or not only USA but European Union, India, and majority of the countries are dependent on basically China for the rare earth element. Rare earth element are a group of 17 elements. They are not rare, they are present in abundance, but the point is that because of the location where they are present, it is not easy to extract. So this is the rare earth element. When there was a clash between India and USA and China, China said that I will not going to supply rare earth elements to USA. So USA has started searching for alternative, and the best alternative USA get is the Pakistan, and Pakistan ka Balochistan region. So Balochistan region, which is already a disputed territory, actually it have a great number of rare earth elements. So to fulfill USA to fulfill its critical minerals or basically rare earth elements need, it have started ओके सॉरी देयर वाज एन इशू ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बट ठीक है चलो द पासनी सो अब क्या है कि यूएसए इज एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू हैव एक्सेस ऑफ बलूचिस्तान रीजन सो व्हेन यूएसए हैव अलाउड सो व्हेन पाकिस्तान हैज अलाउड इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ यूएसए नाउ दे आर आल्सो साइडलाइनिंग चाइना so China who thought ki bhai Pakistan will be my trustworthy partner and I will going to counter India also with help of Pakistan, so actually it is turning the tables down. Pakistan is turning the tables down. Now they are saying that ki bhai no particular China China bye bye, now we want USA in the system, and they are actually allowing USA in the system. That's why just near to this Gwadar port, particularly they have the Pakistan have given access to USA to form a port that is known as Pasni port. Now this particular port is not only the concern for India, it is also the concern for China. Now the angle comes, why it is concern for India? It is concern for India because it is very near to the port which India is having access, not in Pakistan but in Iran, that is your Chabar port. Chabar port is one of the important port which we have already discussed in the current affairs series. If you have remembered, I guess last week we have discussed in detail about the Chabar port. But Chabar port se Gwadar port ka distance was around 72 kilometers. Now when we talk about Chabar port se Pasni port, then it is also kind of 100 kilometers on an average, about 100 or 120 kilometers. So now earlier we were concerned that ki China will have the access of the maritime, ki bhai whatever the ships which we are actually going from this to your Iran to via Afghanistan to Central Asian ports, Central Asian country. Now we have another concern, that is USA. Now USA will also have the surveillance of your Indian movement in this region. So now USA and China is both the countries are concerned for us, because Pakistan has allowed both the countries, Gwadar port to China which is already running, and second the Pasni port in Balochistan region, which is actually it is giving access to your basically USA. So and India has having the access of Iran ka Chabar port. So that's why these two port, Gwadar and Pasni port, is the concern for your India's Chabar port. So hope so you can understand the triangle which is present here. So earlier China was our concern, now USA is also our concern, and with growing proximity between India and USA, it is one of the particular kind of a concern for India in this region, and Pakistan is by choice, it's doing such things in your basically area. So this is the particular thing which we have discussed, ki by part of Pasni is a deep water harbor and which is very close to Gwadar, so it will be a fishery. This particular port is good for fishery also, jets also. So if like from this is actually one of the things they are constructing here, and it is situated 70 miles east for China Gwadar port. So it is like 100 on an average Gwadar port and 100 miles from the Iran-Pakistan border. So on an average the distance is very less, and covering such distance in the current order is not something very new for the countries. Now it is also hampering the India Chabar port access. Now what is the aim of this particular initiative? They are not directly saying ki haan humne access diya because we want to counter China and India in this region, but obviously the Pakistan says that ki bhai USA want investment for us, sorry USA in investing us, they want actually the rare earth element from the Balochistan army, Balochistan region. So we are just given an access, this is our part of our economical decision, so I don't want any country to interfere in my economic decision. So this is what the clear stand of Pakistan here is. But here USA, because by giving access to basically US in the Balochistan region, they are giving USA two access. Number one, they will have the access of the rare earth element which are present in Balochistan. Number two, USA army will going to counter the uprising which is done by BLA and which is actually supported by India. Officially we are not saying ki haan, we are the one who are actually supporting BLA, but unofficially kahin na kahin everyone is aware ki yes, India is the one which is funding your Balochistan Liberation Army or supporting your Balochistan Liberation Army to create instability in Pakistan. So now this will be a concern for us again. Now we have to change. That's why it is said that ki now India should work on changing its neighborhood policy, because almost every neighbor is unstable and the world order is changing. So that's why it's high time that India should also come up with some new strategies on international platform as well. So this is the particular article which you will see. Now fatafat let us complete the last article which you will see. Honorable President Draupadi Murmu confers My Bharat NSS Award, that is National Service Award. National Service Award which you will see. So President Draupadi Murmu presented the My Bharat NSS Award for the year 2022 and 2023 at Rashtrapati Bhavan. So what is this award is all about? Let us discuss. So it is actually the award which is given by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. So it's actually a mixture, or it's actually initiative of two ministries, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Ministry of Sports, and under this they are giving award to the youngsters who are working for the social service in the society. So Basically instituted by Ministry of Affairs and Sports, that is Youth Affairs and Sports, and it was started in 1993 and 94, and My Bharat NSS Award. And under this award, each winner of NSS unit, acha pehle we have to see this, there are 50 awards which are actually presented every year. 10 NSS units are there, ठीक है, then 10 program officers are there and 30 NSS volunteers. So 50 awards are given every year divided into these three particular sections, 10 NSS units, उसके बाद 10 program officers and 30 NSS volunteers. Now each NSS unit winner will be given 2 lakh rupees and trophy. Program winner will be given 1.5 lakh in certificate and silver medal. Volunteers were given 1 lakh and basically a silver medal. So this is the award which they are giving. Now what is NSS? So NSS is basically a national आप कह सकते हैं service program. So under this national service program, or under this national service people who are involved, it was started in 1969, and it is actually one of the initiative which is formed on the birth of basically Mahatma Gandhi, and aim is basically to involve more and more youngsters for the development, or basically to provide voluntary social services to the people. They help people in the society, and the individuals who are working the society or helping the people in the society, they will be awarded by the government. So aim is to foster the personality and character development of students through voluntary community services inspired by the Gandhian idea of selfless. Now what is the motto? Not me but you, स्वयं से पहले आप. This is the motto which reflects the core philosophy of basically Gandhi, and saying that we should first look after the community, we should first look after the people of the community, and then we should think about ourselves. So this is what this initiative or this particular individual service is all about, that is National Service Scheme, which is working on the social service. So that's all for the news today. We have covered almost all the important articles which are actually present in the system, and all the other articles which are not that important, but yes, you should aware of, you should read that. Those articles are mentioned in the weekly current affairs which are present on the IAS Origin website. So you can go and download the particular files which are actually uploaded every week, Monday to Friday, Monday or Friday, like before Wednesday we upload the weekly current affair file. On an average, some article 100 to 150 pages articles are present there. So majority of the things are covered here, and the things which are not that important, because we can't discuss each and everything in the 1 hour live class. So some of the important articles are mentioned in the weekly current affair file, so you can have the access of that current affair files in free on the portal of your IAS Origin. So that's all for today. Hope so you have enjoyed this session. Hope so it was a useful session. We'll meet again tomorrow with some more current affairs and basically the news which are important from examination point of view. So all the best. Have a nice day.